If your ROAS drops or your CPA rises, there are literally only 4 possible metrics that are responsible for that. The biggest mistake I see brands do when their performance fluctuates is to assume, oh, it's the ads or it's the funnel or it's our offer, and then just go and change that. Most of the time they do it with ads. But the truth is, it's not always the ads. The problem is that if you first don't isolate the only responsible metric for it and improve the part that got worse, but just change something randomly, is that after that it mostly gets worse, because if you change something that was actually working fine and not the broken part, it gets even worse and even trickier to fix. So in this video I will show you exactly the 4 only metrics that can be responsible for your performance dropping and what to do in each scenario. Once you apply this, you won't ever second guess what's happening in your account, but you will be able to read it like a book and just improve it over and over, no matter what happens. My name is William and I've generated over 70 million in sales for 7 to 8 figure e-commerce brands and help scaling personally multiple brands past 1 million per month. With that being said, let's get straight into the framework. Now, if you have a media buyer or work with an agency that are maybe not that experienced, what will happen is that performance drops, let's say ROAS drops or CPA goes up, and they will tell you, hey, the ROAS dropped, we need new ads. Well, this is very easy to say, but it's not always true. It's not always about the ads. Let me show you why. Alright, so here are actually the only metrics that affect CPA and ROAS. Before we get into the framework, here's some proof. ROAS is technically your conversion value divided by how much you spent on ads. Now, in the scenario of a ROAS drop, we assume that the ad spend stayed the same. Otherwise, of course, ROAS tends to drop if you scale. So let's say ad spend stayed the same. Now let's look at conversion value. The conversion value is essentially the number of sessions you had times the revenue per session. What's your revenue per session? That is AOV times conversion rate. What are your sessions? The number of people who clicked on your ad. Now what's the number of people who clicked on your ad? That's the number of impressions times click-through rate. And what's your impressions? That's CPM divided by ad spend times 1000. So you even cancel the ad spend out, and then you have the final formula. Your ROAS is conversion rate times AOV times click-through rate divided by CPM, and that times 1000. This is why those are the only metrics that affect your ROAS. Everything else are soft metrics and not fundamental metrics. So now, as we've established that only those 4 metrics can affect your ROAS and nothing else, let's look into how. Any ROAS change is a change in one or more of these metrics. So what you want to do when your ROAS change is analyze just those 4 metrics in your ad account. You look at your CPM and compare to the period when your ROAS was satisfactory. And then you check, alright, is the CPM rising? Now, I'm not talking about the targeting settings in the ads manager, but to target new audiences with your messaging on your ad creatives and the angle, the creative format that you use. I have a video on how to lower CPMs in more detail, and I'll link it below. Now, CPM changes are not that frequent usually, so another scenario is that the click-through rate is down. If that happens, of course, ROAS goes down as well. Well, why does click-through rate go down? Usually because people get used to your ads. It's called creative fatigue. They see it over and over and over on their social media. They get hooked a few times and then they're just like, ah yeah, I know this, and they skip it and they scroll. In that case, you need to refresh your creatives, especially if click-through rate is going down, but also frequency up at the same time. That means that your current creatives reached their capacity and you need to find and create new ads that go out to new people, new top of funnel ads, especially to get your frequency down. Because if the frequency is up, it means the same people get targeted over and over again instead of you building your funnel and actually reaching new people. And that's essential to grow your business. So if the CTR is down, yes, it actually is the ads, and you want to focus on more ads, stronger ads, and ads that target a new audience. Now let's say CPM and CTR are all intact. Well, then only 2 other options can be happening. Either the AOV is down or the conversion rate is down. If the AOV is down, you can improve your funnel to make sure that you get more order value out of each purchase. So for example, you can bundle higher value offers, but you can also improve your funnel to have upsells and other things. I have actually a funnel checklist video. I will link it below. If you have issues with that, just go through that. After that, you won't have any issues with the AOV. But also, if you wonder, okay, but why did the AOV actually change? Well, oftentimes you will see that different ads in the ad account have different AOV. For example, an ad that sells multiple products or bundles, or an ad that gives people more confidence to spend more, or maybe attracts a higher quality audience, will lead to higher order values and higher conversions, whereas other ads to lower AOV. And it might have happened that an ad that gives you this high AOV audience burned out, or the environment changed and a competitor launched a higher value bundle and now people only buy one item from you, and for the bundle they go to your competitor. So you also need to keep an eye on the whole market and competition and their offers. Now if you find that your ROAS changed and the CPM is fine, the CTR is fine, the AOV is fine, then it can only be the conversion rate. Literally only those 4 metrics It's always one of them or a mix of them. So when your conversion rate is down, you can do a few things. You can test new funnels, you can test new landing pages, you can test a stronger offer, especially if your offer was weak before. But essentially you want to do things to improve your conversion rate. But it might be also an environmental change, and when I say environment, I mean the outside of the ad system. So it's not within the ad system, but maybe there is a financial crisis and people just can't afford your product anymore because it was quite pricey anyway. For example, I work with a brand selling gold jewelry, and their sales and conversion rate moves together with the price per gold ounce. So sometimes we see, oh, okay, the conversion rate changed, but it's nothing about the funnel. It's actually just the environment in which the ads operate, and it's completely normal. And once the price changes again, then we see better performance again. But again, this is not something we control, right? The environment is not something we control. Other things that count into the environment are things like a competitor launching a better offer and now everyone converting there and not on your brand, or maybe a funnel outdated and now it's not matching the sophistication stage of your customer anymore, and that's why they drop off and don't buy anymore. So there are many possible reasons, but essentially if you want to take control of this and just take it and improve it, you want to improve your offer, your landing page, your funnel, make sure that the messaging is aligned and up to date, and then it should be good. Now, if you don't have many winning ads, or maybe just a few and they started to burn out, of course, then it is also not the landing page issue, but an ad issue, because if the only ads that give you actually quality traffic that converts burned out, then of course also your conversion rate would go down. But again, if this happens, then you should have already stopped at this step, clicked right down, and at this step you should have started making new ads. So yeah, if you apply this framework to your funnel, you can literally diagnose every single time what happened, why something is going wrong, and then what to do next. It's really that simple. Don't get confused with things like hook rate, hold rate, impressions, and other soft metrics. Those four are the fundamental founding metrics, so to say, that determine everything else. Now, if you're in a plateau for a while, and even after watching this video, you're not quite sure what's going wrong or want to have me take a look at it and diagnose it, click the first link in the description. There, you will be able to schedule a call with me one-on-one, and I will audit your entire meta ad funnel and see if we are fit to grow your brand together. Else, check out also the linked videos when it comes to the funnel checklist and what you can do when your CPM rises. Thanks for watching, keep scaling, bye.